to change your life and you're not using these tools, what are you doing? Hi, my name is Sukaji and welcome to Sukaji Speaks. This is my first episode being done in video form, but I will still be publishing the audio version of this episode on Spotify. So if you are more listening to a podcast person, then it'll be available for you on Spotify and Amazon Music. So, the topics that I will be covering today are dreaming and visualizations, journaling and shadow work, affirmations and subliminals, and meditation. One of the first tools being dreaming and visualization. And with dreaming and visualization, it's really getting clear on the vision of your highest timeline, the dream timeline, your dream reality, and your dream self. And when you get clear on what your dream self, who your dream self is, what your dream self does, how does your dream self look like, how does your dream self react to certain people, places, and things, how do they flow, how do they handle the life of their dreams. Once you get clear about that then will be the key to becoming your dream self, and then your reality will then morph into your dream reality, because you are the key. Once you start changing internally and changing your habits, your routines, your patterns, your beliefs, well, starting with your beliefs and your knowings, which then will change into your habits, your patterns, and the aligned action you will take, you will then have or become and transform and morph into your dream self. And so through having that vision, through having that dream, it's a clear direction of where you want to go. You know, sometimes when you have that vision and that dream, it's within you, right? It's an inner, your imagination that you are then bringing into reality. You're bringing into the 3D, right? And once you start, or you're cemented and secure within your vision, you can start using your daily routine, your daily rituals, your daily practices to create the path to becoming your highest self. But the thing is, without a vision, without a dream, you don't have a direction or a goal of where you want to go. And in that journey, you know, you must also release expectations, release the how, the when, the what, because it's like you're building from within. You are becoming one with a frequency, with a vibration, with an energy of yourself, and grounding it into the 3D, which will then, through aligned action, attract the dream reality that mirrors the dream version of yourself, that mirrors the highest version of yourself that you are being, right? And so through dreaming and, you know, visualizations and just keeping your inner child alive and just cultivating joy and happiness, you can really get to where you want to go, or get to a stage of fulfillment, a stage of peace, a stage of bliss. And so it's very beautiful, very fun, very free, very like la 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 la. You know, you really kind of, also you kind of have to get a little delusional. You know, you have to push the limits on what you believe when you are trying to step into the role of being the creator of your reality and changing your reality to your reality of your dreams, you know. But in doing that, you are inviting so much more magic and so much more blessings and miracles into your life. The second tools being journaling and shadow work. With journaling can be a very powerful tool because sometimes people have the tendency to get a lot of energy stuck within their mind, and journaling can provide a powerful and cleansing outlet of taking the energy that can get stuck up here through just like rumination and anxiety and fear, worry, doubt, stress, and really create a path for the energy to move from the mind into something. And with this would be externally, whether you're writing, typing or physically writing on a piece of paper. And in creating that outlet, the energy is able to channel out into something instead of being or you riding a thought train into a certain direction that you don't necessarily want to put your attention towards. And when you are writing, and it doesn't even have to be like real words, but just like physically moving your hand or typing while you are in that space, it can create like a pause. It can create a space of peace in a way, because it's kind of like you are letting it out, and then you can then see with clarity what the thoughts were about, what the frequencies of spirits that were within your mind were continuously going at it about, and kind of give yourself the space, the place to respond or to address what you are going through, because when it's in our mind, sometimes it gets so foggy, we get confused because of the speed of how fast those thoughts, those frequencies, those spirits are coming at us, that we can't really, or we don't have the luxury of just slowing down and really seeing it for what it is. And through writing and journaling, it gives you the space to see it for what it is. And also with that, it's just you and the page, or you and your computer screen. There's not something there that is judging you or criticizing you for feeling the way you feel. And in that, you really can be as vulnerable as possible with your page, as vulnerable as possible with your writing, because you know that it's a space to feel safe and really just express how you feel, because all feelings are valid. It's just what you do with them, the actions that you take with certain feelings that may not be aligned with your highest good or with the good of others. And so journaling can be very, very, very cleansing, very, very comforting, very clarifying in terms of getting to the root of why those certain thoughts are coming, and what beliefs and knowings are they connected to, what versions of yourself are they connected to, and what you need to do to remedy that ailment. The next tool would be shadow work. And shadow work is the practice of delving into your shadow or your subconscious, or the parts of yourselves that are not normally expressed or normally shown or normally shining, and so with shadow work, it does have I feel like it has a connotation of working with the quote unquote negative parts of yourself. But honestly, anything that isn't seen or expressed or a focus, or under your focus, under your awareness, is a shadow. So think of the moon. The moon could represent your shadow, your subconscious, things that are running in the background that you are not necessarily always checking on or always focused on. And with your sun would be focus. But the thing is, with the sun and the actions that you take, it can be altered, it can be manipulated, it can portray a certain illusion. But with your shadow really is kind of like your true self, because it's things that you react to, things that are kind of like that things that are kind of like triggering in a way, or trigger a certain stimuli, trigger a certain response that could be positive or negative depending on how you define that for yourself. But with the sun, or with your actions, they can be changed and kind of, as I said, manipulated to show a certain illusion, to shine a certain light, to shine a certain focus. And when I say manipulation, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing because it's like just you responding to something in a way that shines a certain light, shines a certain idea, a certain action of how you want to be seen in a way. But with the moon, it's kind of like things that just come out when something is perceived, when you are triggered or activated by a certain stimuli, person, place, or thing. And so with shadow work, it's just the practice of really going into your subconscious, going into your mind, going into the deep, rooted beliefs and knowings that you have about yourself, that you have about the world, and the actions sometimes that you take that you don't really have an awareness of, or when it is manifested, you kind of are confused in a way of, where is this coming from? Why did I do that? why did I take that certain action? Why did I respond or react in that certain way? And so shadow work can be very important because it allows you to really see the beliefs and the knowings and of like the core you, of what is running your program, what is running your reality. What have you placed your attention towards that is birthing certain person, places, things, experiences, situations within your reality. And how do you want to change it? How do you want to transform it into a reality or a timeline that serves you, that gives you fulfillment, that gives you peace? And so with this shadow work, it can be very daunting in terms of just like the emotional baggage, the emotional weight, the energetic weight, the vibrations that can be unearthed through this work. It's not something that is easy to do and can be done overnight. And sometimes, or a lot of the times, when you are being called to do shadow work or to look at your subconscious, it's something that kind of comes out of nowhere, or you're feeling a certain way that is kind of out of vibration of what you're usually normally used to, or just like you're just feeling off or something. And with that, you really have to treat yourself with compassion. You really have to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to feel your feelings. And even if those feelings are uncomfortable or discomforting, or, you know, kind of not positive, you still have so much things to learn from those feelings, from those vibrations, from those frequencies. Everything that you go through, even positive or negative, depending on how you define it, you're going to learn something from it. And so with shadow work, it really is about taking the time to learn why you do certain things, learn what beliefs, what fears, worries, doubts, self-sabotaging habits and patterns that you have, and like what they're rooted in, and how you can love yourself into a point where you can let those go, because you are very, very, very powerful in terms of what you put your attention and your mind towards. And in letting those things go, you really do have to love yourself enough to even imagine and know and see and embody a version of yourself where those things that kind of tormented you or ran you or triggered you in the past don't have that effect on you anymore. You really have to be grounded and anchored in your knowing of your power to really let go of those things. And sometimes they do return, because everything is cyclical, everything is a cycle, and those things might come back, not necessarily to test you, but just as like a reminder of what a version of yourself that might have been prone to being triggered or activated by that certain thing. And a way that you're growing is how you are able to kind of transmute and alchemize the energy that used to tie you and that certain person, place, or thing, stimuli, situation together, and how you kind of call your power back and use that power, use that energy, use that attention into pouring into yourself and into things that bring you joy, bring you peace, bring you fulfillment. And so it can be very messy. It can be very hard because you really have to be truthful with yourself. It can be really uncomfortable in terms of purging all the people, places, things, situations, experiences that, the energetic baggage and weight that is held by those things. But in doing that work, you will feel so much better after. You will feel the peace, you will feel the bliss, you will feel the freedom, the liberation from those things that used to tie you down, And so very, very important work, but very necessary in terms of becoming your highest self and aligning with your highest timeline. The next tool that I will be covering is affirmations. Affirmations are statements, and I think of them as rules of your self-concept, of your reality. These are things that you are feeding to yourself, that you are feeding to your subconscious of what you want to be, who you want to be, or what you want to experience and what you want to become. And the thing with affirmations can be also seen as like thoughts that you want your mind to be saturated with, right? And when you are speaking certain affirmations, you are aligning with certain frequencies and vibrations that will then be grounded into your 3D reality. And through that grounding, through you growing the energy of what you want to embody through the focus on your affirmations or through the repetitiveness of your affirmations, you will then become what you are affirming, right? Because the power of your tongue is unbelievable. And you, as a creator of your reality, have the power to create your dream life, to create your dream reality. And through affirmations, you are affirming, you are speaking, you are claiming what you want to experience, who you want to be. You know, this can go into a myriad of things. Just think of like every aspect, every area of life. You can affirm something, you can speak something into existence, and through aligning with those frequencies, with those light codes, you will then be birthing the ideas, the frequencies, spirits, the thoughts that you are putting into your mind, that you are feeding into yourself, that you are feeding your attention towards, and it will then produce fruit. It will then produce people, places, things, experiences, stimuli that are what you have spoken, you know, what you have called in, what you have poured into. You know, so affirmations can really, really, really be, you know, very, very powerful in terms of defining and aligning who you are and the life that you live and what you experience. And this also goes into subliminals. Subliminals are basically just affirmations played at a very, very low volume for where you're active or you're aware, or the volume level, the threshold of things that you can hear consciously played at a lower volume. So like our ears can hear things that we can't consciously hear. Like there might be frequencies and vibrations that are being played right now or sounding right now within my environment that my subconscious mind is receiving, but my conscious mind is not, right? And so with subliminals, it's just like playing it at a level where you could barely recognize the what is being said, but your subconscious mind is taking it in. And with subliminals, it's also being played at like, or it matters on the video or the creator that are playing, but it's being played at like a repetitive level, a level that is like fast, obviously, or they're being repeated, they're being stacked, and also it's like different voices that are speaking to you and basically programming your subconscious. And so this can be a very powerful tool as well, because it's like sometimes you can be affirming the right things, but if you don't feel it, if your subconscious doesn't feel the emotions, the energy, the vibration of what you want to bring in, there will kind of be a disconnect in terms of what you are seeing in your reality, right? With our subconscious being what programs and what is birthing our conscious 3D reality, right? But through subliminals, it's kind of like hacking your subconscious and feeding it with information, with vibrations and frequencies of what you want. And in that, you will then experience people, places, things, situations, and stimuli that align with your highest timeline. And also it's kind of like there's like a magic and mystery to it, right? Because it's like you're not really being consciously aware of what you're listening to. So it's like the rate or the cycle in which those things come back to you is like so magical, because it's like you weren't really being focused on it, you were just receiving it. And then whatever beliefs and knowings you have, you know, rooted or are in your energetic foundation of your reality, you will then see the fruits of that. But really it's just like being, what did it, it's like spam. It's literally a spam of affirmations being played at a lower level so that you're not consciously aware, but your subconscious is receiving it. Lastly, the practice of meditation. The art of meditation is tuning in to certain states of being, certain vibrations, to achieve a certain effect or result. So meditation can be used for a myriad of intentions. You can use meditation to attain or align with vibrations of peace, of joy, of bliss, of clarity, or you can use meditation to unlock and increase your knowledge, your wisdom, the spiritual gifts and abilities that you might have. And so with meditation, it really is about intention and kind of detaching yourself from the outside world and tuning inwards to really connect to that vibration. And in connecting to that vibration, you are then inviting, you know, frequencies and vibrations and energy and experiences with that vibration that'll then manifest within your 3D. So if you're meditating to, you know, to gain more wealth or business ideas, you can do that. And through being in that state of being in that vibration of abundance, of, you know, creativity, of being a successful business owner, being, you know, a creator, you will then receive ideas, receive frequencies, like codes, spirits that are aligned with that certain vibration. And then you can do the work of grounding it in and taking action in those frequencies and light codes that you received through aligning with the vibration. And so this can be very important in terms of creating your new reality, because what you first have to do is kind of get clear your mind, clear your body, clear the old thoughts and habits and patterns and feelings that you used to have. And in getting clear, you are cleansing and also, what's another word for it? Kind of honing and sharpening your power, right? Your ability to manifest things. Because if you still have, you know, a lot of thoughts in your mind that are not aligned with the vibration that you want to embody in your highest timeline, and like a lot of feelings and past things, and you know, you're taking unconscious action or action that doesn't align with the vibrations and the frequencies and the energies that you want to be in, it'll kind of be hard to create and receive the light codes and the frequencies, the vibrations to embody the energy of your highest timeline. But through meditation, you can really cleanse yourself and really just focus on just existing focus on being, focus on, you know, feeling and tuning in and aligning to the peace, to the abundance, to the bliss, to the fulfillment, to the joy. And in doing that, you are then calling in the people, places, things, and experiences that align with that vibration. And so with meditation, it's really like a reset or a realignment to connecting with what you want intentionally, instead of, just going about your day and not being in the vibration or the energy that you want to be in terms of living your life and experiencing your highest timeline. But through meditation, you really can reach those states, and the more you practice it, the more you do it, it will become second nature, and you'll get to the point where you're so present within your reality that it's like you are a walking meditation. You just existing is a meditation, is a prayer, because you have so gotten used to and attuned to those states through doing the meditation that is just who you are at that moment. And in that, you are so powerful, because it's like you're so focused and grounded and within the present moment, and can really pick up the things and the people and the experiences and the opportunities that the present moment are gifting to you in terms of experiencing and being in your 3D dream reality. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope that you have found something that you can use to further improve your life and experience your dream timeline. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more of Sukaji Speaks. The next episode that I am going to do is some more tools for creating your dream reality, but the focus is going to be more on movement. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you get a notification when my next video drops. Thank you, I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.